All right, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of this solo podcast that I still have not come up with a name for. Today is June 29th, 2023, and it is currently 9:54 p.m. as I start recording this. So, I uploaded the first part of this series a week or 2 weeks ago, I think, and I was talking about the trash situation, and I kept telling myself I need to go through and record another part. And every time I, was considering doing it, well, I've just been getting home from work and for some reason being just absolutely drained, even though it was just a basic day of work. My days of work are you show up, I get caught up on kitchen stuff, and then I kind of just shuffle around the building for a couple hours, do a couple of deliver food carts and stuff like that, and then I kind of by myself just hang out for an hour and a half, collect the food carts, do the dishes for that, situate the kitchen, get the kitchen cleaned up after the cooks leave and everything like that, because I'm not the cook at this place. I've chose not to be the cook because I very well could be the cook at this place, and I don't say that egotistically. I say that based on 10 years of kitchen experience and being a cook. I just don't want that responsibility. So, hell, to show up and do what I do for $4 more than me being a second quote-unquote head chef at a restaurant, yeah, I'll definitely take that. But anyway, and then it's pretty much easy coasting for a while until the end of the night where everything kind of happens, and then I'm left sweaty, humid, and drained at the end of the night. Then I drive home. But then I've been getting home lately, and I just haven't been doing a lot. I've been playing a lot of Master Duel, trying to put together a 6 Samurai deck, which I did just finish tonight, and boy, do I not have the loop down for that. I'm not quite sure. I used to play 6 Samurais back in the day, but this was back in 2013 or 2014 or whatever, and there wasn't a lot of support, and they weren't very consistent, they weren't very good, and I just didn't generally know how to play them besides the original ones where they boosted each other's attack and special summoned each other. And now with the Link summonings, the Synchro summonings, and some of the XE summonings, I'm just trying to get the loop of it down. Boy, my leg is itchy. Yeah, so I've been basically just getting home, playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, catching up on YouTube videos, watching House. I'm 2.5 seasons into House right now, but I'm watching that unreliably. I would be binging through it if I had an easier way to watch it, but I'm watching it for free online, and some of the links don't ever work, and then I have to find alternative means to watch it, because I'm not paying a subscription fee for one show, although I was using Netflix just for Supernatural for the most part. Well, Supernatural and Merlin until they took Merlin off. Anyway, so it's been that, and I did start watching Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. And dude, if you haven't watched Camp Cretaceous yet, even if you're not that big, I hated the Jurassic World movies. The first one was okay, a 5 out of 10, and then the rest of them lost 2 points, and just the second and the third Jurassic World movies, absolute dump, just a stinky doo-doo poo-poo flare of icky grossness, and just bad movies. However, you can't argue the fact that dinosaurs are entertaining to watch. I love dinosaurs as much as I am terrified of dinosaurs. I'm the first person that if I saw a T-Rex standing before me and I had a gun, I would be blowing my own brains out rather than try to escape or fight that T-Rex. That's not happening. Hell, if I see a Parasaurolophus, there's a 50-50 chance of whether or not I'm going to skydive onto concrete. Because I was just on Netflix, and I saw Camp Cretaceous, and I'm like, you know what? I've seen some stuff on this. I've seen some timeline things where it's mentioned this show. I want some dinosaurs. It looks colorful. The characters look interesting, and I don't really know much of what's going to be going on. It's 5 seasons, said Chris. And then 2 weeks later, I had the entire show binge, and I was done. Each episode is easily consumable at anime length. They're 24 minutes per episode, and it's pretty well paced. I would say that there were a couple of points where I felt like the show slowed down a little too much, or where there were some small unnecessary plot lines, but for a 5-season show, probably, how many episodes is it total, actually? Let me see. 49 episodes. That's not bad. 5 seasons, 49 episodes. I think it's well worth a watch, honestly. Looks like it got a 7.5 on IMDb and a 92% Rotten Tomatoes. I believe Rotten Tomatoes more than IMDb, and an 89% of Google users liked it. It's on Netflix. Definitely go check it out. And I will say, dude, honestly, I got choked up at the ending, and I am debating on watching the ending again tonight or tomorrow night, because I'd like to watch the ending again just so I can. I didn't realize I was on the last episode when I was on it. I'm like, oh shit, we're at the end. I was on my phone on Snapchat, I was on Pokemon Go or whatever, and then I realized, oh shit, wait, stuff's like wrapping up. What's going on? So I kind of wasn't emotionally invested when I was watching it. Then as the end happened, I got teary-eyed. I got like misty-eyed. But I'm like, yeah, I got to go back. I got to rewatch that knowing it's the last episode and just kind of go. So definitely recommend that. And funny thing, because I posted that on my book Twitter at vengeance_books, saying, oh man, you guys should go watch Camp Cretaceous. It's good. I don't usually recommend shows because I don't watch a lot of new TV shows. But I posted that, and one person liked the tweet, and so I was like, oh, okay, sure. Well, I'm going to click on who liked the tweet. Wonder if it's a bot. Some account with 5 followers, and their description on Twitter just said, "Will block anything LGBTQ posts or accounts." Like, that's hilarious. Why did you like my Camp Cretaceous tweet? Because this show has inclusivity. This show, there are elements of LGBTQ stuff. It's not like a primary aspect of the show. Some characters' endings turn out to be the bisexual category of the community, and it's really cool. Like, I didn't see that coming. It was really nice. Yeah, no, the show is super diverse. Like, it has a bunch of characters, well-rounded characters, a lot of fun. And each character's, diverse in its own way. I went back and I watched the first episode again. I like to do that as well, like with all the knowledge I have and just seeing like all the foreshadowing or seeing how much the characters really changed, just how stark of a difference or how stark their introduction was compared to where they developed to be, obviously, in the show. I like that stuff because it's also what I do when it comes to writing, that's a big thing for me too. It does take a little bit of a weird turn in seasons. Oh, I'm looking at the cast right now. Jenna Ortega plays Brooklyn. I kept forgetting to look up the cast list. I didn't realize Jenna Ortega voiced Brooklyn. That's actually really cool. Brooklyn she was my least favorite character when the show started, ended up being probably my favorite character. Brooklyn was just a lot of fun. And she changed probably the most out of everybody, maybe besides Kenji. Well, I mean, Ben absolutely changed the most, but he kind of changed the most once and then stayed that way. And then didn't do a whole lot more developing after that. But Brooklyn just kept developing. Same thing with Kenji. Kenji developed, regressed, and developed again, which is just really fun. I don't know. The show's just so much fun. I really recommend you guys watch it. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about in this episode. What are we talking about? I don't know. I'm going to mention that I am going to Michigan. Actually, I'm going to Michigan again to go visit my friend Sav. Again, I went to see them this year in January, I believe it was. Was that this year? Yeah, it was this year because I uploaded the vlog of going to Michigan. That was not last year. There's no way. That was definitely this year. Yeah, 100% that was this year. I went to Michigan, and that was the vlog. So January I did that, and I'm gonna go again in August 10th through the 15th. I'm getting paid time off of work, which is really nice. Because I actually get PTO at this job, another perk of not working in the kitchen anymore. And I think I'm meeting up with another friend there while I'm there, who I didn't get to see much when I was out there last time. I just got to stop in and say hi to her, basically. But that's all the time we had. So I'm actually going to spend one of the days, like a handful of hours during the day, actually hanging out with another friend, which is cool. And then I think we might be going to Cedar Point in Ohio. For a day. Hopefully we can get that figured out, and that's going to be really, really cool. Last time I brought my GoPro with me because I was like the first time going back to Michigan, so I was really trying to like capture, the time for my own little like my memory hard drive. I have a terabyte hard drive that I've been putting pictures and videos and nostalgic stuff on for. It's kind of like a time capsule, but it's just memory hard drive of stuff that pertains to me and my family and my life. And I wanted to record a video for that, so I had like an hour worth of footage from the last time with, not even mostly from the GoPro, because the GoPro started to show me some issues. It was just being a real pain in the ass, not like starting, not recording, not turning on sometimes. I think the batteries are just kind of junk on those. But this time I'll just be recording stuff on my phone. I'm going to bring like a little handheld phone mount tripod thing and just occasionally record on that. And just try to have like an unhinged good time. I don't know, being away from home, man, I get super stressed out. I get stressed out being away from home. Not much for me anymore, because I used to get really, really homesick as a kid, and I'll get into that in a minute. I'll try to remember anyway. But now I just get stressed out because I know I'm leaving the bunnies for 5 days, and I know Dylan and Nin don't always... I mean, they go out there and they spend time in the kitchen when they're making food and whatnot, but I always make a habit of, like, I don't know, every 30, 40 minutes whenever I'm at home, before and after work, I go out there and I give the bunnies some head rubs, some butt rubs, and I tell them I love them, and I just give them, like, baby voice and stuff, and I try to play with them. They're usually, resting during the day before I go to work because they're up at night. But whenever I get home from work, I try to go out there, just on clockwork, just periodically going out there, checking on them, playing with them, giving them some hay, just telling them I love them and stuff like that. And without that, because I know Dylan can be reclusive in his room, and I know Nin can be a lot of the same, so I just get super stressed out that the bunnies aren't getting enough attention, especially when, like, Dylan's at work, and then, yeah, I don't know, that stuff really stresses me out. And then potentially them missing feeding because they need to be fed early in the morning. I feed them between 10 and 11 a.m., 11 at the absolute latest, and 7 to 8 p.m. at night. And I get worried that they're not going to wake up because they both sleep in super late, which is, I'm not blaming them, I'm not vilifying them or anything like that, but, when they sleep in late, I get really stressed out that nobody's going to feed them in the morning, and then that can really screw up their digestive system. They're habitual feeders. That's the biggest stressor of going, and also just trying to find a ride there, because my plane departs from Boston Logan International Airport, which is a 2.5, 3 hour drive from me, departs at like 9:30 a.m. It was the best ticket I could get, because every other ticket that was a convenient time of day was like an extra $140. So definitely not doing that. So trying to find a ride out there for the morning has been impossible, and all the buses that I could potentially take to and from the airport are like 3 hours off of the earliest arrival. So like the earliest bus I could take to get to the airport would arrive at the airport at like 12:30 p.m. and I depart at 9:30 a.m. So that doesn't work. And then for my flight back, I arrive at the airport at like 4 p.m. or something like that, and the last bus that leaves during the day leaves at like 3:30 p.m. So like half an hour before I arrive, the last bus that comes this way to the towns, right, like the 3 places I could get dropped off at, yeah, it just does not work out. So trying to find a ride home will be the problem right now. I think what we're going to do is me, my mom, and my sister Olivia are going to stay at a hotel the night before, close to the airport, like we did last time, which I don't want to do because I'm already going to be gone for 5 days, basically. Like, I'm arriving halfway through the last day, but 5 days, I have to add another night on top of that where I won't be home, and I just get homesick and I get stressed out. So I don't really want to do that, but gotta do what I gotta do. No, it's not up to me. I'm not driving and leaving my car there, so I have to work with everybody else, and yeah, it just kind of sucks a little bit because it's another day. Well, it's another night, and I think I'll have to be getting off of work that night before just to get in the car and go to the hotel for like check-in at 11 p.m. or something like that, and then just go to bed, get up, and just be nonstop, and that sucks. So I might see if I could get the day before off, like the Wednesday before off, so I have the full day at home before leaving to go to the hotel. I don't know, man. That's so much I don't want to think about it. That's like another month and a half away, so I don't really have to worry about it too much right now. But as time goes, I will put it all together. I realized something that in a lot of my dreams, I don't know how many people have this. I know it's very common that like people's arms feel weightless and they can't punch in a dream, and there's a whole lot of like the physicality of your sleeping body versus the mentality of your waking dreaming brain, where like your brain's keeping you from moving your arms, but your arms in real life want to move, but they are in like a stasis because your body puts your brain puts your body in a stasis when you sleep, so you don't sprint off your bed and fucking crack your head open on the dresser. But I always have this very consistent element of a lot of my dreams where like weightlessness is a thing, right? So it's not necessarily flying, because I'm terrified of heights, and I don't think I'd ever want the power to fly because I'd be too paranoid that I would lose the ability while flying. Like if I had the power to fly, you would never see me more than like 15 feet above the ground because I'd just be too terrified of like my powers cutting out somehow, or me losing focus and not being able to regain it and just falling to my death. I guess I'd have to have the power of flight, and no fall damage would have to kind of come hand in hand, but I always have this weightlessness element in a lot of my dreams, not all of them, but whenever I have just like a freedom. And what I mean by that is like if I go to jump, I don't just jump, I kind of jump and glide. And I'm like a feather, you know. And if I'm running along the ground, my steps are like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like ethereal almost, you know, like my steps are gliding just above the ground, and each step I take is a 10-foot gap, but I'm floating above the ground by only a couple inches when I do it. Or my feet are gliding along the ground and almost like I'm hovering, but not hovering. The best way I can describe it and the best way I can relate to it, and I had this mental breakthrough like earlier this week, was like, oh, I need to try ice skating. Because it's kind of like that. It's kind of like ice skating, and without the building momentum and stuff. But like, if you're ice skating, and like, I kind of imagine like you're ice skating, except instead of blades, you have. I'm making this up as I go. You have furniture moving tiles. You know what I mean? You put the little disc of the tile underneath the foot of a couch, and all of a sudden, that thing can slide across the room like it weighs nothing. It's like that on the bottom of your feet on an ice rink, and you're just like floating, gliding across the ice rink, but you have full control. You're not going based on momentum, you're going based on willpower. So like if I'm going forward, I can turn left at 90-degree angle at my will. I don't have to like, you know, make an arc. It's not gonna slowly get me to turn. It's going to sharp. I'm just gonna go at my own will. I have full control, almost like I'm telekinetically moving my body with my mind, but still working off of like reduced and personalized gravity based on my perception of how I want the world to be. If that makes sense. Listen to it again if it didn't make sense. I think that made sense. But I realized that the link between that part of my dream, because that's always so consistent, and I always feel so good in that state, you know. It's like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like Frozone from The Incredibles, where I'm throwing the ice in front of me as I'm going places, and I have full control over where I'm going, but not like that. Again, it's more ethereal as opposed to physical. And I have that all the time, and I made that link in my head that I should try ice skating at some point. However, I know if I went ice skating, I would slit my own throat somehow. I know I would. There'd be no way I would walk onto that ring, skate for any amount of time, and walk off without having one less finger or my throat in pieces. There's no way. It literally would not happen. However, I kind of want to try it. I know me and Sam debated on going ice skating at one point. We never got around to it, and I was always like, nah, I ain't doing that shit. With the same excuse, like, I'll fucking die. And plus, I don't like looking. I'm very stoic, and I'm very like, if I'm in public, I'm try to hold myself in a way where people won't look at me and think, what a doofus. They'll think that guy looks kind of cool and comfortable where he is. You know, like he looks like an anime background character or something like that. And I don't want people to see me. I don't know if it's like a pride thing, but actually I'm not very prideful. But when it comes to public embarrassment, I've had enough of that shit in my life, and I don't want any more of it. So I don't want people looking at me and seeing me flail and not being able to stand and just look like an absolute goober. Like the 3-year-olds are like doing backflips as I can't even get off of one knee. You know what I mean? But I do want to try it. I just wish I could have something that's similar to ice skating that has more control of what I want. And maybe a lot of that stems, like maybe that idea in my head was birthed from, I used to do cross-country skiing in school. I did a lot of shit in school that you would be surprised to know. I always, and again, talking about Sam or like any person I talked to that's known me for a while but didn't know certain things, they're always so shocked when I revealed, yeah, I played basketball for like 5 years. I played baseball for 2 years. I played soccer for a year. I went cross-country skiing. I did archery in school. Like, just all this random stuff. And they're just like, excuse me? I would never have seen that as something you did. So I think I did cross-country skiing back in school, and there was a lot of just kind of walking along trails in the winter on your skis, finding a hill and being like, oh boy, crack your knuckles, here we go. And you like, wee, on this 40-degree incline, just slide down and go, that was awesome. Then you just kind of walk in. We did snowshoeing as well. There's a lot of it was winter sports stuff that we always did back in like, I don't know, man, like 5th to 8th grade, something like that. Man, wild times. I really wish I could just go back and relive like a couple of days from each year in high school, or like spectate myself. I want to spectate that environment. It's I think that's why I'm making that memory hard drive, is there's so many things that I can't remember doing, or that kind of spark in my brain at the most random times, like, oh shit, I did that. Wow. I wish I could remember what that felt like, but I do remember that was the thing, And I just like having those memories. It's like it's proving that things have happened in my life. When you get into the doldrum of a consistent expected day of little to no change and monotony, and then you kind of think back like, man, my life has only ever been this. Everything I'm doing right now, this is all it's ever been, because that's what it feels like at times. You get stuck in that headspace, and that's kind of where I've been at now lately for the past couple weeks, mostly because I haven't been writing, because that's a constant in my life. But so I like to be able to look back. That's why I make vlogs. That's half the reason why I post to YouTube, is just to archive things in my life, so I can at any point go back and relive a period of my life, especially these past couple of years when we had, COVID lockdown, and just like how much the world was adjusting and changing and shifting, and everything's kind of felt just like a blur. And then the whole prospect of getting older, it definitely feels more like a blur, especially when every day is basically the same. There's nothing to differentiate a day between the last. So it really, hell, we're almost 7 months into 2023. 7 months. Today's the 29th, dude. It's almost July. And that's really fucking depressing to me. Because at the end of this year, I'll be 30. I'll be turning 30. And that doesn't make any sense to me. No sense at all. And I kind of came to that realization recently that, like, my 20s, the first half of my 20s, I'd say 20 to 26, was like some of the longest time in my life. It felt like the longest period of my life. And then the past couple of years have just fucking flown by because of circumstance and everything going on. But, years 0 through 10, I have, very few memories of that time. Like, one of my earliest memories is being at my grandmother's daycare at the house I live at now, sitting on the living room. I think I must have been 5, maybe 6, I think. And challenging one of the daycare kids to a coloring contest to see who could color inside the lines best, because I knew I could beat them, because I was like, I color all the time, and I know that they don't color all the time, so I'm going to beat them in a coloring contest, mostly just to try to get attention, because people didn't pay attention to me, ever. So, yeah, and then 10 through 20 was obviously school life, and that has obviously the most amount of unique memories, but there was also so much trauma that happened in halfway through that a lot of that shit just kind of got like, I don't know, compressed and defaulted to a negative connotation. And then getting to the end of that, when my life started to kind of blossom and turn into something different, meeting Sam, going to Michigan, everything like that was like the best part of my life. Things had finally changed, and then it all came crashing down, and then here we are. So my 20s have been the most character development for me. Definitely found out who I was in my 20s, but like, I feel coming into my 30s, everyone feels like this, I should have more figured out. I should have more of a plan, more of a goal, more things coming to me, and I don't, and I just feel stuck. So I'm dreading hitting my 30s and feeling even more like I've not only failed everyone around me, but I failed myself, even though I know it's not true, because everyone lives at their own pace, and I was always a late bloomer, but not in that sense, like a late developer. I matured early from trauma, but I didn't grow because I was so sheltered. I was sheltered and traumatized, so I didn't grow, but I matured in a different way early. But I've always done things later than everybody. Like getting a girlfriend was always a later thing. I mean, hell, losing my virginity, I think, was how was I, 17 or 19? I don't remember. 17, 18, or 19. One of those. I think it might have been closer to 18, closer to 17, something like that. But like, I did everything so much later, mostly because of my own shortcomings and my own issues. But so, I don't know. I get stressed out about that, coming to the end of the year when holidays start happening, shit, I get really depressed and really stressed out. Hey, this is Future Chris. Quick intermission, real quick. I just want to stop in, remind you to leave a like on the video and subscribe. That would help out a lot. Turn on the notification bell if you want, and also to check out the other YouTube channels that you see up on screen, Linkin Airsoft and Linkin Covers. I've been posting a lot of vocal covers lately, and I haven't been posting a lot of Airsoft, but I am getting close to 500 subscribers. So go over there right now, and I would actually appreciate it. I can't be strict and mean sounding and demanding. That's just not like me. Also, please go follow me on Twitch. I'm trying to stream more often. If I see people going and following, when I see engagement, it motivates me to actually do stuff. So, also, yeah, for sure, go to OnlyFans for PP pics. Thank you. Get back to the podcast. I haven't even played much Apex at all in the past couple weeks. Honestly, I played maybe one day a week for the past 3 weeks. I hit Diamond in Ranked, and I don't want to go above Diamond in Season 17 because that badge doesn't mean anything, because I know I'm a Diamond. I can be a Diamond player with playing with Jake and whatever have you. Like, when we work together, we can get the Diamond. This is my third time getting a Diamond, but Season 17 is such a fucking joke with Ranked that I don't want to get any higher than Diamond, because when I get a Master's badge, because I know I could definitely play and get to Masters easily. I could get to Masters. I'm not going to do it because I know I'm not a Masters player, and that badge will mean anything. And now, if you're confused what I'm talking about, Season 17 of Apex, they changed the rank system to prioritize placement over kills to prevent people from kill farming and basically cheating their ranks. So essentially what you could do before is in Apex, people would go into lobbies and they would go in with the idea of actually cheating and getting themselves a shitload of RP to rank up by finding people that they know, or joining each other, getting into each other's lobbies somehow by smurfing, getting to alternate accounts, killing teams, and then letting teams respawn each other over and over and over again, just keep killing the respawn teammates, just farming RP. Rank points. But they changed it to where you can't get RP from killing the same player twice in a game, so that you can only get RP from killing each player uniquely once, which is great. I think that's fantastic. That's awesome. However, they also made it so you basically get 0 RP if you die before 10th place, which, all right, I could agree. If you die and if you're one of the first 10 teams to die, you lose. You lost that game. You shouldn't be getting any RP no matter how many kills you got, because you didn't even make it to top 10. People keep forgetting that Apex is a battle royale, and the goal of battle royale is to get first place. That's the point. So I think that's great to negate kill farming by changing that, and also to make it so prioritizing placement. However, that's just made it so nobody's taking fights in the first 10 squads to die, so you'll get 8 minutes into a game, which is a long time, and still have 15 out of 20 squads left in any trios. Well, it's ranked, so with all trios, but 15 out of 20 squads still alive. So nothing happens for 10 minutes every single game, and because you're not wanting to take a fight, because if you yourself kill all 3 in the squad, and then you die, if you're the 12th team to die, or team number 12 to die, you don't get any RP. You just don't gain anything. It doesn't start really giving you anything until you're top 10. So everybody's just ratting and just waiting for the ring 4 through 6 to do anything. And it's just super, super boring. But if you just sit there and rat and you wait and you let everybody else fight till you get to top 5, you can rank yourself up the leaderboard like crazy for literally not playing the game and avoiding playing the game. And people are just finding rat spots to hide in, and it's just really, really gross and stupid and annoying. I think ratting is viable if you're the last person on a team, but when you get your one random fill in ranked, if you're playing with a duo and you get your random fill and they just go and they find a spot to hide on the map and just wait the entire game out, it's just not fun. It's really, really stupid and lame and pathetic, and that's just really frustrating. So I know I could just do that. I could just rat and just wait and not play the game and get top 5 almost every game, as long as I didn't get killed off drop, and I could get myself up to Masters. No problem. I'm fucking Diamond 3 or Diamond 2 or 3 right now. But there's no point in doing that because that rank won't mean anything. I didn't actually earn it. I earned it by not playing the game, and I think that's really stupid and should not be encouraged. So I haven't been playing Apex. All that to say, I have not been playing Apex because I want to play ranked, but I don't want to rank up. As stupid as that sounds. But otherwise, I've not been playing any games for achievements, and I haven't been wanting to do anything. I've just been kind of in a rut. So now, now we're going to get into the end of the podcast where I'm going to go over a couple of things real quick. First of all, if you made it to this point in the podcast, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, but we still got a little bit of time left. I want to talk about, first off, my current music. I'm going to get into the habit of every time at the end of the podcast, down in the description below with the link dump, I'm going to include a link to my current mix playlist on Spotify, and there you can find whatever music I have shuffling in and out of my daily rotation, and you guys can just check out what I'm listening to right now. If you have any interest in finding some new music or just seeing what's Chris listening to lately, there you go. But just in case you don't want to check out the playlist and you just want to hear some highlights real fast, I've been re-listening to some Skindred. Love Skindred. Imminence put out a new song, Come Hell or High Water. City States Haven, fantastic song. Kim Dracula has been putting out some decent music, as well as Skinned. Skinned put out a new song. And I actually just started doing this thing where I made a playlist called Legacy Rebirth. And essentially what I'm doing with that is I'm going back through all of the artists I listened to in the past and kind of blending into the future, like music that I kind of grew up with. Like, you got Bullet for My Valentine, Avenged Sevenfold, Black Veil Brides, Disturbed, Linkin Park, 30 Seconds to Mars, The Used, Bunny the Bear, Slipknot, All That Remains, Old Mushroom Head, Ice Nine Kills, My Chemical Romance, and that's about it right now. And I'm adding all of the albums containing songs I never heard that were either older stuff or newer stuff. Like I fell off of Bullet for My Valentine like 2011 or whatever, like when Fever came out. So I made a playlist consisting of all of these albums I never listened to of bands I love. And I'm just slowly listening through the whole thing on shuffle and then adding them, removing them from that playlist once I listen to it, and then adding them, if I liked it, to a different playlist where I will eventually migrate that to my all of my music playlist, which I will include the all of my music playlist if you guys want to look at that just to see like everything that I will listen to on shuffle. So that's what I'm doing right now when it comes to music, and so there'll be those two playlists down below. My current mix and then all of my music will be in there for you guys. And now I do want to transition into the Q&A section of this. If you don't know, down below in the link dump is a link for qooh.me/LinkinsLegion, and this is where you can ask me questions to answer on the podcast. Right now, I have 2 questions. One of them is old and one of them is new. And we're going to read them off and answer right here as soon as the page will load. Okay, first question by Anonymous is, what made you want to do YouTube? Now, for me, I talked about that a little bit before, where YouTube was, it has become an archive for me, an archive of my life, and a way to, like, when I make videos, I'm trying to make myself laugh most of the time, and making other people laugh is a byproduct of that. But it's an archive and it's making myself laugh. However, at the beginning, if you go back to the beginnings of my YouTube channels, it's like random Halo clips, it's random Airsoft clips, like on the first original channel. Like I didn't re-upload all of those to this channel, but it was all just kind of sporadic random whatever videos of me recording my TV with a point and shoot digital camcorder, recording Halo Reach clips and posting me doing some skateboarding tricks and whatever, and that's all it was. And it was just it started to actually become something when I uploaded, actually originally it was the Bleach Hollow Mask and the story behind it. So if you don't know anything about this is some deep Lincoln's Legion lore, some deep Chris lore. My first ever video to break, I think, 10,000 views was the Bleach Hollow Mask, where I bought a mask off of a website for the anime Bleach. It was Ichigo's Hollow Mask, and what I purchased for, I think, $40 was what it said in the site, a ceramic, like actual hard, decent quality, strong mask. And I got a flimsy, cheap, not even $5 plastic mask. And I made a video talking about that and showing the old mask and the one that they sent as a replacement, which was the actual mask that I was supposed to get. That video got like 10,000 views. And then shortly after that, I posted this is going to date it, a Ray William Johnson comment question of the day, and it was showing off some of my airsoft guns, some of my swords and my knives, my collection of weapons, and it was, what's your weapon of choice? That's how I said it. And that got onto Ray's channel at the end of one of his videos featuring KassemG. And KassemG was the one hosting that episode, and he read out he saw my comic question of the day video. He, responded to it, and he said my name wrong. It was Linkin Park 51795, not 51975, I believe. I think that's how it was. So then he made some virgin joke or something like that, and whatever. And so my individual video for that got featured on Ray's video got like 5,000 views or something like that. So that helped. And then after that, it was the Airsoft video that got like 750,000 views. Which skyrocketed me up to like 5,000 subscribers, and then I actually had an AdSense issue. So like that video made me about $600, I think, back in the day, and my channel got monetized at that point. But then there was an AdSense issue where I had to log into the AdSense account to change something to update the account, but I couldn't update the account without logging in, but I couldn't log in without updating the account. So it was a catch-22 broken loop. I just literally could not access the account. It was dead. So that's why and I just kept uploading videos on the channel for a while at that point, but I finally decided I'm just gonna fucking make a new channel and start over. So I did, and that's this channel. And then I split the Airsoft into his own channel, and I split stuff from their own channels, and yeah, here we are. So why I wanted to do YouTube back in the day? No reason. I was just uploading crap. And then I got a few videos with a few decent views, and there were people commenting, so I kept making some videos, and here we are. And then achievements. Then achievement videos did really well, actually. Achievement videos, my 10,000 Easy Gamer Score and other Gamer Score videos did really, really well and kept that momentum going. Next question from, again, Anonymous. And you can, if you want to leave the question as anonymous, you can just do that. Or you can leave your name or whoever you want me to read out asking the question in the question, just add like by this person or whatever. And the question is Star Wars or Star Trek? I have never seen more than 5 minutes of any Star Trek. Anything I've ever seen Star Trek has been clips on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, just little mini clips. I've never seen Star Trek. I have no problem with it. I've just never seen it. I've never been big for space stuff besides like Halo. And even back in the day, I've talked about this to death, but back in the day, I fucking hated Star Wars because I had only ever seen, I think, Return of the Jedi back in the day in a hotel room going to Six Flags, I think. I saw the Mustafar scene, or whatever it's called, where Anakin says, I hate you, all that scene with Obi-Wan. That was my only experience with Star Wars, but like everybody loved it so much, and I got so fucking sick and tired of hearing about it that I just decided that I hated Star Wars, and I think that perpetuated the idea of me hating what's popular. And if it was too popular and I heard about it too much and I never saw it, I just fucking hated it and I wanted you to shut up and die. So I will say Star Wars though, because I did finally, me and my friend Jake, everyone knows Jake P Donks on the channel. He and I went through and watched all the Star Wars movies, me, him, and Sam. And then, after Sam was gone, me, him finished watching the Star Wars movies. And I watched Obi-Wan on my own. I watched The Mandalorian. I like the side stuff more than the main stuff, even though I can really get behind some Anakin, Darth Vader stuff. I did enjoy the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, and I enjoyed some of Obi-Wan for what it was, despite all of its shortcomings. I think the world is cool, obviously. It's huge, it's expansive, but God, I wish it would just go away. I wish it would just die. I am really sick and tired of it. But I will say Star Wars over Star Trek. That's going to do it for the Q&A portion. Again, you can leave questions at qooh.me/LinkinsLegion or just follow the link down in the link dump down below or description, wherever it is. Also, I'm going to go over book stuff real quick. And this is going to be kind of short because not much has really changed. I've been still just writing and injecting notes for the third book. Mostly I've been stuck trying to figure out a name for the third book, and I think I'm liking the name Vengeance, Bane of Apotheosis, or something Apotheosis. And I think that, because I got really pretentious, I had Vengeance, Pernicious Coalescent. Come on. Then there's Vengeance, Reconstruction, Vengeance, the Macrocosm of Apotheosis, or Vengeance, Paragon Genesis or something like that. Like, I'm just trying to a good strong name without being too pretentious, but that's been really, really, really hard to think of a good name for it because of the theme of the book. But I've also been stuck considering, like, oh yeah, the end of book 2, what have I forgot to include from the end of book 2 in book 3 so far? And it was like 5 really important things. Like, oh fuck, I didn't even mention that. I didn't mention what they're gonna do with this character's body from the end of the book, or how that leads into blah blah blah, whatever. Just like trying to figure out how the transition is going to work and mentioning all those things. I'm like, shit, I forgot so many things. I got to inject this. Oh man, so that set me back a little bit. And now I'm also trying to reconsider the quote unquote antagonists of the book, their motivation and their plan, because I have an idea for it, but it's flawed. It's okay if it's flawed because the characters are technically driven like insane, so their plan doesn't have to be flawless and perfect. It just has to make sense for their pathos. But I'm kind of stuck on that, so I have not actually started writing, and I keep telling myself I'm gonna start actually writing, but I really need to nail down and feel confident with certain elements of the story and the character development to where I can actually start writing it knowing exactly where I'm going, and that's not going to change 80 pages in, or it's not going to need to be adjusted, 80 pages in. I think that's going to do it for this podcast. Let me check my notes to make sure I didn't forget anything. Yep, I think that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast or watching it on YouTube. If you enjoyed, leave a like or whatever you can do to interact with it on whatever platform you're listening to. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.